Hi, I'm Steph from Simplicity Happens, and today's 10-minute activity features labeling high-frequency vocabulary words, in addition to receptively identifying more than one, and expressively using plural form. At the end of the tutorial, I'll show you how to download this free activity from my website at simplicityhappens.com. So let's get started on this activity now. Hello and welcome. Let's get started with our activity. The first thing we can do is go through and count some of the items on the background scene. So I'm just going to go through and count the items, and you can count with me. Are you ready? Let's go. I see one bird. I see one tree. I see one star. I see one house. I see one flower. One bumblebee. One truck. One frog. And one bunny. Nice job counting with me. Now let's get started with the next step. Let's get started with receptive labeling. I have that highlighted up here at the top because that's where we're at. And all that means is I'm going to say, point to the, and I'm going to name an item on the background scene. And all you're going to do is help by pointing to the item. Are you ready? Let's get started. Point to the bird. Here is the bird. Point to the truck. Here is the truck. Point to the star. Here is the star. Point to the bunny. Here is the bunny. Point to the flower. Here is the flower. Point to the house. Here is the house. Point to the frog. Here is the frog. Point to the tree. Here is the tree. Point to the bumblebee. Here is the bumblebee. And lastly, point to the apple. Here is the apple. Nice job pointing to each of the items. Next, we're going to move on to expressively labeling each of the items. And all that means is I'm going to click on one of these pictures over here on the side, and you can help by telling me what it is. Now, this is a great time to have those pictures out in front of you so that you can use scissors and glue to put them on your own background scenes. If not, you are welcome to follow along on the screen with me. Are you ready? Let's get started. What is this? It's a bumblebee. Nice job. Can you help by putting the bumblebee next to the other bumblebee on your background scene? I'm going to go ahead and do this, and you can follow along with me. Let's move on to the next one. What is this? It's a bird. Can you help by putting this bird next to the bird on your background scene? If you need any help, just follow along with me. Great. Let's move on to the next one. What is this? It's a flower. Can you put this flower next to the flower on your background scene? Great job. Are you ready for the next one? What is this? It's a bunny. Let's put this bunny next to the bunny on our background scene. Nice work. Let's move on. What is this? It's a truck. Let's put this truck next to the truck on our background scene. Nice job. What is this? It's a frog. Can you put the frog next to the frog on your background scene? Awesome. Nice job following along with me. Ready for the next one? What is this? It's a star. Let's put the star next to the star on our background scene. Are you ready for the next one? What is this? It's a tree. Let's put this tree next to the other tree on our background scene. Nice work. We can move forward. What is this? It's a house. Let's put this house next to the other house on our background scene. Last one. What is this? It's an apple. Let's put the apple next to the apple on our background scene. Now that we have a new picture that we created with all of that gluing, we are now going to go through and receptively identify the items on the background scene. And all that means is I'm going to ask you to point to, and then I'm going to name the items, and you're going to help by pointing to each of the items on your background scene. Are you ready? Let's go. Point to the birds. Here are the birds. Point to the houses. Here are the houses. Point to the stars. Here are the stars. Point to the trees. Here are the trees. Point to the flowers. Here are the flowers. Point to the bumblebees. Here are the bumblebees. Point to the trucks. Here are the trucks. Point to the frogs. Here are the frogs. Point to the bunnies. Here are the bunnies. Point to the apples. Here are the apples. We've come to the final step in the activity today, and that is to expressively use plural form. And all that means is I'm going to ask you, how many of an item do you see on the background scene? And you can help by counting the item and telling me what the answer is. For example, if I ask, how many birds do you see? You might respond by counting the birds, 1, 2, and saying 2 birds, or I see 2 birds. All right, let's move forward. Are you ready? Let's go. How many apples do you see? One, 2. I see 2 apples. How many trees do you see? One, 2, 2 trees. How many trucks do you see? One, 2, 2 trucks. How many stars do you see? One, 2, 2 stars. How many flowers do you see? One, 2. I see 2 flowers. Nice job following along with me. Let's keep going. How many houses do you see? One, 2, 2 houses. How many bumblebees do you see? One, 2, 2 bumblebees. How many frogs do you see? One, 2, 2 frogs. And lastly, how many bunnies do you see? One, 2. I see 2 bunnies. Great effort following along with me and completing this activity today. I've had so much fun with you today on this activity, and stick around. I'll be back next week with another 10-minute activity. See you then. Bye. If you'd like your students or child to follow along with this activity, you can get it on my website at simplicityhappens.com. All you'll need to do is go out to simplicityhappens.com, and then click on subscribe here in the top menu header. That'll bring you to a page where you can subscribe by inputting your name and email after reading the Sign Me Up for the Simplicity Happens newsletter summary. Once that's completed, I'll send you an email right away with a password for the activity garden. And all you'll do is come over to the activity garden and you can enter your password in here. And once you do, that will open you up to a bunch of fun downloadable activities